with. The melancholy, they know how to reflect, they just overthink. But these guys, you gotta be with him and you're gonna have to do like, if I were you, this is what I would get out from the meeting. So you have to reflect for the guy. Like after the same meeting, right? So in order for you to reflect for the guy, you need to know his life. You need to know what he normally does. You really catch him doing the wrong thing here and there. For example, if I stay in the same headquarters with you guys, right? I would I would catch you guys, try to cook during the meeting, or I would catch you guys, having low stamina and you could barely focus on the meeting, and you went home from work and you didn't take a nap, and you just never spend time on like taking a nap, and then you ended up going to the meeting and you felt really sleepy and you felt really like losing focus. Then I would use that and I can connect that with the thing that you learned from the talk. See, that would be something that I would do. But then because they live in California, they live in California, they live in Toronto, they don't know anything about the candidate. So it's hard for them to really help reflect something from the material and connect that to the guy's life. Like for me, if I talk to the guy, I have to use somebody else's example, but I can't connect that at all. You know? So the hardest thing ever is how would you be able to help the guy to think, to reflect this? They look at everything and they don't want to think about it. So it's hard for them to really find motivation. Most of the time you see people who are sanguine and pragmatic, they have less motivation than the melancholy. Because the melancholy, they're looking at everything and they find all the bad things from it, so they found motivation from it. But the MP is different from the MC. The MP will be like, I look at it, it's scary, I don't want to face it. So they know they have motivation, but that motivation it's short-lived and it's not long-lasting, because they look at it and they'll be like running away from it, right? Yeah, but the MC will be like, yeah, I'm gonna fix it. I don't like this thing at all. And so it's the same traffic that you hate, and somebody like MC would go like, I'm gonna get rid of my job. And then the MP was, oh my God, how long am I gonna be stuck in this traffic? And then they just don't do anything about it because they don't know how to figure out a way to get rid of that. And so in order for you to build these kind of people, like somebody like Myra has to be so good with healthy ego. Because the dude has no healthy ego. He looks at everything and he wants to run away from it. He wants to shy away from the problem. And Myra has to be somebody that has a really good healthy ego. And so whenever he ran into a certain thing in his life, she would help the person to understand that, hey, if I were you, I was just going to take this challenge. But if Maya doesn't have that ability to handle much pressure, she can't point out for the guy. If Maya is not somebody who's good with connecting the dots between her life and the stuff that she learned from the meeting, then it would be very hard for her to help the person that, if I were you, it's going to be a lot of, if I were you, if I were you, if I were you, if I were you, I would do this. If I were you, I would think like this. If I were you, I would connect this lesson with the thing that happened to my life yesterday. His thinking is very weak. Like a 32 years old, but thinking like a 14 or 15 or something, because he can barely handle stress. The dude cannot dig in deep in everything. Like he cannot think very far. He can only focus on the now. So if I say no to my mom to go to a meeting, I don't give her a ride home, I feel like I'm guilty. But he kept digging deeper. That if I keep giving her a ride like this, how long am I gonna have to do it? Is she gonna get a driver's license by herself? She'll keep thinking that, okay, somebody's gonna give me a ride for free. Why would I want to get a driver's license? They will not take that far. It's all about the moment. Like my mom asked me to do the English translation, the Vietnamese translation. I'm like, I do it once, I do it twice, I do it 3 times. Then mom, you gotta ask somebody else. And now she's so good with English. She passed her citizenship test by herself. See, sometimes people cannot think further because their mind's been so limited because they've never really practiced thinking long term, thinking people, getting them headaches. So building these kind of people require Katie and Myra to be super good require them to have a melancholy, choleric mindset. But these are like the opposite of him. They can point out exactly what the guy need to work on. But if they share the same problem the guy has, they can only motivate, inspire the guy, be there with the guy. But I mean, he doesn't just need that. He needs a motivation, but he also needs somebody to coach him how to think. He wouldn't really looking at your problem and someone else's problem and connect to his own. Like he can't connect the dots. Okay, so I see something similar here. Yeah, like I can see something similar here, and I can connect with mine. Yeah, so the guy really needs help to coach. I mean, if you can expose a bunch of problems of people around him to him, he still can't see that. That's it.
Yeah. That's the thing.
This was a bit more specific. More.
So when I get in my training, I try to give out a lot of examples from somebody else. I wasn't sure if the dude can really connect that with its own personal problem.
When you talk about the story of monkey stuff, I'm like, can he be that smart to
connect that with like his situation? So I had to end that story with, see, so are you willing to, the daytime and you going out there, you be like a normal guy, just like everybody, and you get that banana, but at night it's your time to connect to go get it at money. Like I wasn't sure if you would be able to really be that smart to connect with that. So building somebody who's slow in the thinking require like 3 or 4 or 5 roles. One person speak, one person come and ask questions for him, one person stay back and help him connect the dots, one person encourage him to come back and do a lot more of these hurdle play hurdle. Like it requires so much role. This guy has to be local. This guy has to be in the headquarters. This guy has to see a bunch of other people's problems. This guy has to have somebody to really expose his feeling every day. He won't do that right away. It requires so much.
He can come to the HQ to watch meetings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. When he come, he see a bunch of strangers. I don't know if.
Well, I mean, last time he came to function and he got along. I mean, he talked to us if we initiate the conversation. And you know what? Like whenever I took him out there, you know, he was trying to wear the shoes. It's hard to wear it. And then the thing is, I was just, you know, like moving to him, close the door, you know. And then he's afraid that I'm gonna wait for him for a long time. That's why he took the shoes and with barefoot walk out. And I'm like, no, it's weird for me to walk in again, you know. Like I was already there. It's weird. It's just walking. And I was telling him that, hey, I'm just taking measures. You take your time, whatever.
not at least emotional people pleaser? One training doesn't work with
People pleaser?
Oh my
Go to function and sleeping. Afraid to go to sleep. Very
And
sad.
then if you let's say during meetings, you can take a nap.
Please,
Quick nap or quick nap before meeting.
too theoretical, academic. People say, stay in the meeting, focus. She do exactly the same.
The bell rings.
I went to the function. I felt sleepy. Session was 4 hours. Guess what I did? Went to the car, got 20 minutes nap. Oh, you missed out. That's what Billboard taught. You don't leave the function. And the dude just stay back, and they didn't leave, didn't take the nap. That dude couldn't even focus for the next 4 hours.
Yeah.
Came back for the next 3 hours and a half. I got it all. You stupid, you follow the instructions.
You learn
So
something.
the MP is all about like instruction. Whatever people tell, I'll do it. But they don't think outside the box. They don't follow whatever is right, whatever works, whatever is good for you. Not you, right? Someone else. Every training, never you guys, somebody else. Yeah. I only focus.
Oh, the last sentence.
Yeah, I only focus on Kevin, not you guys. So really.
Even recently, did you see the commitment he got on the wall?
You want to get on T5 with you again.
This shirt helped him get a lot of contact.
Yeah,
Look, Luke got defeated. 8-1.
Oh my god.
I thought he won.
8-1.
Oh, I thought he won though.
I won.
What the?
8-1. 4. See, you carry business mentality into game, you win in game.
Okay, you win again. That's good.
This guy was like, if you win in game, you can win in life.
We have to do the work.
So I think you understand.
Okay, can you talk too much? No.
Which topic we should prioritize to help the MP reflect? Is that a question? Which topic to prioritize?
You have to do both. You teach too much, the guy feel like, oh, I cannot do it. Then you have to inspire the guy. Inspire so much, and then the guy doesn't get to learn anything. He comes back and he fired up, and he's the same. You gotta do both.
Inspire, instruction.
All of them together. Like these guys are super weak. You gotta do all of the above.
In my mind right now, is it worth the instruction? Is it worth the time investing in things?
He said last time we literally, like after all the work put in, what do I get back?
He's more like a flag San Milan. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine.
The Milan comes when he plays live circles.
See, there are two kind of overthinking people. First one is the one that looking for a problem, like it's like an MP. The second one is like a flex sound. They're not looking for problem. They're never overthinking. But today, if you're giving them the problem, mess up their brain. How can whenever I walk away from a meeting like this, I always think to myself like, how would somebody been around for 32 years and they could only handle that few problems in their lives? How could that be possible? But for 32 years, what do? Just a bunch of like laborers work, and a bunch of like, just work, and don't think and run away from problems. Never read, never listen, never go to school, never really challenge yourself in anything. Never get into anybody else's problems. Your problem is your problem. Curiosity kills the cat. And they stay in their life for the rest of their life. They don't want to stay in anybody else's life. They don't nothing about the word out there.
This will be our future. If we don't,
Alicia future.
we don't know Alicia.
Alicia better.
Oh, Alicia. There's a numerology thing, the number thing.
Don't worry about it.
And wrong.
If you have a 10, then you are the type of person.
If you change Bill Britt names or whatever, he's still multi-million.
Oh, so it's in here.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, so it's in here. It's in here.
That's I cannot succeed.
No. Like my number is I have like 5 number 1, which is a lot of ego.
Oh,
And that past like told me I'm very ego, and I'm like, no, I'm not
I got
that
3
ego.
number 1.
Wow. So she has more ego than you have.
Yeah.
Before.
I think with the long time, you got to move to HQ to help better.
He has to be in headquarters. He's like another Kyle. He's just like another Kyle. He has to be in headquarters. He has to have somebody that's working one-on-one with him. But like working with Kyle is easy because you can yell at him, you can smack him left or right. But it's hard to looking at the guy 30-something and you yell at him in front of all the young kids. And it's just hard. Like when I told him that I had a hard time to really do that, supposedly, how I would expect the answer. No, don't worry, just help me. Yeah, but the dude is like, he didn't understand anything.
Sometimes he doesn't even get it.
Yeah, he didn't even get it. Like
I think maybe this is the first time he's, been getting some feedback for this.
I think if he has some sort of ego, he doesn't even know.
Maybe so.
No, I don't think he has any ego.
Check.
That's what
But look, if you're looking at Myra, there's absolutely no way she can help him. She can only like share her stories and inspire him, whatever. But how can she did what I just do? How can she do what I just did? Like a lot of explanation and help the guy to reflect and
There's nobody in that team can do it.
like even the dude is like same age with Kenny, and he came to America for like 2010. He didn't even have the intention to bring the guy to Kenny Lee's house. But it's she herself is not an opportunist, like to catch the opportunity to get the candidate to be involved.
You have to offer.
Number one. Number two is even when she catches the opportunity, she works with the person, she doesn't know how to like help the person to think. She has the same problem the guy, overthinking, shy, run away from problem, no healthy ego, right? She can only be a good friend. Okay, sure. And now everything has to be on Katie's shoulder. And she hasn't figured out everything.
She's also working.
Yeah, that's okay. But Katie has to figure out everything. And now there's only Katie one role. How do you take care of the person? Because there's only one role. But if you move the guy back to local, there'll be a cross-eye to help you out.
Yeah.
But now she can only go there, you teach, but you teach very like mild, like very medium, like you're trying to be nice.
There's nothing, to keep him back if he decides to.
It's so hard to build.
Very. I hope it's
If you don't move Riyadh here, I don't know what happens.
Yeah, quick some.
Yes. Actually, she doesn't even know. She doesn't even have that mechanism of building the person. Like there is a strategy for this kind of personality, for this kind of person. Like at least Katie knew, like you gotta really inspire him. Then there's another role to really teach him, and there's another role to be his friend. But she knew that pathway of personal development for that person until he got to the point where he just only focused on the business, to maximize points. Like at least, she kind of envisioned like the entire journey how to get there. Maya's like just building the person like spontaneously, like however she feels, she's just gonna treat the person the same way. But it's not like this strategy, just go ahead and talk to the person.
Yeah.
If I were Maya, I would go like, Phil, how do you build somebody like him? Phil, how do you build somebody like an MP? Phil, how do you build somebody like an SC, whatever? How do you build them, right? There's always a way to really walk them through certain role. It's not like you go and you tell them what they need to know and it's gonna work. Later, you're gonna raise your kids like that. They'll be friendly, they'll be dad, they'll be mom, they'll be uncle, they'll be auntie, they'll be friends. You don't just go and give them, here's a book you need to read. Here's an example of somebody like you. They look at it and say, no, that's not me. They're looking at someone else's cases, they go like, you trying to say I'm that bad? They have an ego. Building human being is not that simple. There's always a strategy. Why do they have a class teaching marriage? Why don't you just go and love the girl? Because there has to be a proper way to love the girl. Why do they have class to teach people how to raise a kid? Because there's a proper way to teach you how to raise a kid from 1 to 5, different from 5 to 10, 10 to 15. It's all different. But 90% of the time, people don't ask the how and the what question. How do you build this person? They don't ask that. They only talk about, okay, I have a candidate, can you help me out? And they expect the upline to do everything. It's so complicated. Let me just go out and find the people. But then we need you as one of the roles to build a person. Me, myself, cannot handle everything. Do you know that when I'm sitting here, I teach him, I can't just take him into the room and say, hey, if my teaching was hard, is there anything I can help you? How is everything? And play around with him, make him comfortable. Then the next time, act like his teacher and take him out and be his friend again. It's hard. Do you know that we need you to be one of the roles? So you can't just have the mindset of like, okay, you got to do it everything. This is my candidate. You should ask, what would you need from us? Who you need from me to really follow through with a candidate?
So Leo, when you walk out, gotta ask him how much he understands. Then he shares about his overthink a lot. When you go home, and he cannot think through.
You want drip?
I'm doing this mostly for Maya, not about the guy. Because how she takes care of this guy is the same like how she took care of the other guys. Yesterday,
An example.
she sat me down with Liam. We talked about how can we move the guy to, Toronto. But then there's no reason. Like why? I can't just tell people to do something without proper reasons. Why do you have to move? The guy said, I can still get PR, green card, wherever I stay, and I can build a team here. That makes sense. He hasn't failed before. Why would you have to force it? It's just a lot of things she does out of like, you feel that way, let's do it. But it's not like, okay, thinking of that gonna work? Does that make the mentor feel comfortable in getting into the conversation and with the candidate feeling comfortable? Like they don't think that much. In a way. So how do I build like my Houston team is I walk them through a lot of like cases and examples like these. So the teamwork become a lot more established. There's a chemistry. They automatically know where to fill up the role and what to do this and when to do that. But a lot of people, they don't know what would be their role when it comes to the process and how much they need to reach out and help the upline.
Yeah. Like I think whenever we see that, like, let's say I give Jack feedback, right? And then maybe you guys know that, you guys probably don't see Jack maybe look like tired a little bit, something like that, like maybe you can come and talk, inspire.
Like that's not teamwork. Like we know it.
Or whenever I see Ria, crap after experience, whatever, I can come and ask you to go out and play.
When I have their piece and they see that how you do it, and it seems that whatever field train over here is actually work because now they are able to move more people. They are able to facilitate and bring down stories from there.
And it explains the intention of the speaker too. Phil or Henry or whoever say that because they want this and that. They want you to be, they want you to be, because they cannot say like, oh, I talk like this because I want you to get better. They cannot like just go or just yell at that. No, what I need, all I want is for you to get better. It's not like I intended to yell at you. This person, I don't like you, Yeah.
The MP, they're very thoughtful. They just don't take action.
Oh.
They're afraid of people.
What if my thoughtfulness become disgrace?
Yeah.
It took out a real funny thing at function Sunday couple last week. I was the speaker in the gallery, and I gotta do the thing. I gotta set up everything. And Kevin, Jen, and Kelly, they say, I know I should do it too, but what if they look at me? So they know that they should back me up by setting up the thing.
A lot of what if.
Yeah, a lot of what if.
What if I don't do a good job and people laugh at me?
They say this. What if I go in front of people and they look at me?
Yeah, too much thinking.
But they never say, what if speakers take the time to set up a thing and do the time for speaking?
Their team lots of things.
They are well known for knowledge on others.
Overthinking, let's put under this.
The sanguine pragmatic is more like ignorant, but they're on fire.
Because like, if we cannot do it like perfectly, like 10 out of 10, but do something, it's still, 5 out of 10 is better than 0 out of 10. Yeah.
Very sad.
So just do, but then whatever you do,
there's no teamwork.
Mistakes, people can come in and help, it's better. Right, Jack?
I'm also overthinking.
Huh?
You everything.
Yeah.
90% of the time you find people who are overthinking, they have a very low logical and critical thinking. Because if they have a pretty good one, they can eliminate a lot of like stupid, impossible options. How's that even included? Like, if you cook, what if there's a chance you burn the house?
What if there's a human?
That is possible?
You see that you saw a red line. What if?
Kevin Jackson, our crossover a mice? It's like, did I just cross over a human being? And the whole time, many times. Oh my gosh, I can't focus on my driving. You guys have a lot of friends in this house.
Oh my god.
Sasha had got no friend.
Oh, I'm so lonely. I'm so weird. Oh, are you my friend?
No.
When I get sick,
She's good friend of Bria and Thomas. No, Jack Thomas.
Oh, Thomas.
Yeah, Jack.
Change your.
That name quit all the time.
Jack quit all the time. That's a good girl from tỉnh nha.
Okay, Cathy, what? If he moved, who would take care of his mom?
Man, this is the only kid.
Yeah, somebody has to give the mom really a ride.
You know, when I just tell him to come, we gotta solve all the problems on him for the life.
Yeah, like you gotta really get involved, like figure out a way for mom to go to work and
He don't think of it.
and then one day he say like, oh, one day my mom will be like retire. Who's gonna take care of the mom? Because they even have a place to stay. They don't even own their house.
Yeah.
They pay for like rental outside. If the mom doesn't move in here, guess what? If mom doesn't move in here, she has her own place to stay out there. And so he has to pay for two. You know, the crazy thing is, he has the responsibility of somebody who's 32,
Yeah.
but the mindset of somebody who's 23.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, he has such a mindset.
Okay. So continue. Ôi, thầy ơi, buồn quá. Đây. Say something. When I was about you, don't worry.
He said having a boyfriend is a waste of time. They say, nonsense joke, I'd rather you never joke.
But when I used to say, the joke I don't understand, I don't laugh. You don't know.
Yes, Kathy.
Okay, it's your turn.
Your turn now, Katie. You need to unmute yourself. Oh my gosh.
Funny.
Like maybe you move him somewhere nearby here.
Then he can
No,
show
but
me.
yes, I think it's away. 20 minutes away.
No, just too far.
20, 30 minutes.
Right? If you live nearby, yeah, there might be a mom.
Like whenever we go out.
Now he has a sister and a mom. If the sister's willing to take care of the mom, and he figured out for mom a way to go to work without giving her a ride, then yeah, he can move. But then how long do you think he can move? You go out for 1 year, 2 years, suddenly you run into a girl, he likes the girl, you want to date the girl, you want to get married, he's like only 34, 35, get married. I mean, at some point, he can only be like a short-term tenant. At some point, he has to move out, find a Korean girl. He's a lawyer.
We gotta move the Korean boy up here. How can you work with that like that?
Yes.
And you have to like him. He a lot of nonsense jokes, and he doesn't believe in boyfriend girlfriend. Waste of time. I don't know. I have so many like.
Maybe that nobody, no girls like him.
I haven't seen anybody like 32 in that age. Even AJ is strong.
Actually, it's more energetic.
AJ has more common sense
Yeah.
than this guy. He's even weaker than AJ.
When he was 10 years old, probably he's
If he right now he go out, he talk to people and get launching guys and girls, and just launching people like our age. If we hang around with people his age, they'll judge him.
Yeah.
Or he has to find people like him.
We don't want more people like that.
MP, we want more MP for this house.
No.
No more MP. You don't like yourself?
No,
More MP, I will be MP.
MP Mia Pham. Yeah, that's MP. She MP.
You keep your melang, but people love.
Listen to her. Not only about this, but like if you don't have the critical thinking to arrange information, your brain in a way that making it longer remembered, it will not stay in your mind. And for me, it's just the way that I sitting down with somebody, I can identify who they are and I know what to say right away. Because I started with the root cause of, this is how they grew up. And because they grew up like this, and that was leading them to having this kind of personality, and they were just going to act a certain way and having certain characteristics. So that's the way I arrange information in my mind. So I don't have to remember things. I can just making, a lot of like connections, connecting the dots, right? And implications, and from here you're leading to this and leading to that. It's saving a lot of time from remembering things. Some people, they don't have a good critical thinking. They're not that book smart.
I think the way that we learn has a lot to do with how we remember information.
Yeah.
The MP, they learn by taking notes down and go back home and think. But the MC thing, the way they learn is when they learn something, they ask questions. If they don't get it, at that point, they don't put it in their mind.
Like they don't find a way to make it work. They just pretty much follow the instruction and the things that they have done since they was young, which is writing down everything. But they don't focus on, am I going to be able to repeat next time? Am I going to be able to really convey this back to somebody else next time? They don't think that far. Let me write things down and remember it. When I write out the note, right in the middle of the note, I looked at it, I was like, can I still remember this the next time? Can I still teach back to this team later? So I stopped right there. I realized this note's not going to help me do it. And there's a lot of time I have my notes in my speech, but when I went up, I realized that these notes didn't help. So I stopped taking notes that way. I do whatever works, practical. I focus on that practicability more than the whatever my teacher taught before, whatever the majority of people are doing. Yeah. So for Myra, I think she just had a hard time to just arrange information, taking notes. She remembered things that's very short. It's hard for her to go solve someone else's problem. But remember this, if you're not going to get there, you will not going to pass 4x20, 5x30, whatever. Because the bigger your business, the more problems and more people you have to be able to handle. If you want to move the long guy here, he's not gonna figure out everything by himself. You have to help him with the job, with his mom, with the family, with everything.
Just like that.
Yeah, he won't be able to. Well, he's young,
It's easier.
so it's okay. But there are people like this guy, 32 years old. He will not know how to solve problems.
Because I think all the problems that you mentioned about marriage, like, it's actually my problem. So I'm thinking the root cause is mental capacity and healthy ego. Again, like,
Critical thinking too. Analytical, critical thinking. Making sense, connecting the dots. Here to here to here to here to here to here. Because if you have that, you can eliminate a lot of stuff that didn't happen at first place, but you actually create it in your mind. You make it more complicated it's supposed to be. Now, I'm giving you an example, like an MP, when it comes to solving problem for me, whatever make the situation work and solve the problem resolved. For them, I have to make sure problems are resolved, and at the same time, everybody around me feels good. That will bring more energy, making things a lot more complicated, right?
What kind of question to know that
How do you know somebody's personality?
Not so much of the question you ask them, it's just something simple, like they come and they don't have like expression on their face, like this guy has a bad expression, and he's willing to be stoic. Then melancholy is not going to be the dominant.
Melancholy, no,
Like this.
no reaction.
Smile.
Ending.
Yeah. So there's only two expressions: smiling and confusing. Confusing like this.
Yeah.
This is regular face confusing and smiling.
No, that's very good. Yeah. No, that's
If you want to know somebody has melancholy as dominant or not, look at whether are they willing to show their silliness.
Yeah.
The silliness can be shown out for sure. They're not going to be
Melancholy. Like
Yeah.
too much
too
melancholy.
much melancholy. Very quick, simple things like that help.
That's why people judging with more because they're more predictable.
Yeah. Easier to work with.
But they're more prone to change.
Yeah, more prone to change.
I went to poop and this guy followed me.
He like really in the room.
The moment I took action, he just want to get out.
That's what we say is,
Oh my God.
he's the most hungry in pursuing mentorship.
Yeah.
He always.
The moment I took action, he started scratching on the door. Get me out of here. I was like, too late. I cannot get out. I cannot get up. You stay right there.
Every meeting he will be, laying here, sleeping, but still listening.
Just like Sasa. She knew it.
Oh.
it's just a case like
Oh.
Very good.
Bill, right? Bill now has a cat.
Rồi.
And the funny thing is that he buys a closet, a house for the cat, with nobody remind. But I gotta remind him to buy that closet for himself.
What the hell?
He doesn't take care of himself.
Is that the new one?
Yeah, the one that you met.
Oh.
Oh,
The dude at Jessica's house?
Yeah, still fatty.
the cat.
Yeah.
Eh.
Same guy. Oh.
It's a rare cat. I think it's 50 country. This cat is representative. But he's a.
Oh yeah. This morning I
He's a
saw
blacker.
4 cats over here. Over.
Ôi, what do you mean tell us?
The So we don't
You know what? This cat is a connection with HQ people.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. We talk about cat all the time.
There's something to connect the people, something to relax.
Okay.
And then we play with the cat after the loop, you know.
Just make sure don't let them like, create a lot of mess in the house, but then like, yeah.
Yeah, he's very well.
And you don't spend so much money on the cat anymore.
Yeah, we don't play too much.
Okay.
Huh? No dog?
Oh, wow.
dog.
Petting a cat is less expensive than petting an MP.
So you much time with cat?
MP, motivational person.
Usually,
She likes it. She likes it that way.
any talk or any training, you're supposed to ask back a lot of questions.
Hmm.
Now, either you ask.
I'm here.
share your-
You don't see me talk a lot because if I stay in Houston, even when they don't have a case, but they like to elaborate, they take it further. But for the MP headquarters, right? They're still taking their time to chew on the same problem. They're still taking their time to digest it. And by the time we're like, they done digesting it, we're dismissed the group. There's nothing to talk about. Yeah. But anyway, let Katie finish. If she's done, then we can just do our thing.
Ready, users?
This is called street smart. They do what works. You can ask back because I look at you, I see you taking notes, you don't even remember. So why would I take notes? Just because something the majority of people do, it doesn't mean it's gonna work. In fact, everybody has a job and it's not working. These guys have a belief in majorityism. Yeah. Anything the majority does, it's always the right thing. Like my granny, whenever she baked, when her house was so small back in the day, she had to cut the four corners of the cake. But now she's living in a big house. She still cut the four corners of the cake. Even the baker is like super big. Just a lot of time people just follow certain things without knowing why. Yeah. Like this guy, him and the dad and the camel, they cross the desert. So at first, daddy wanted the kid to stay under the camel. Because, want to take care of the kids. And so they stop at one island, and these people are like, what kind of daddy, what kind of kid you are? You have to take care of your daddy. And so they switch. Get off the camel, and the daddy go up, riding the camel. And they go to the second one, and then now people are going like, what kind of daddy is that? You're taking care of your kids? You gotta take care of your kid, man. And so guess what? All of them letting the camel ride them. Yeah, they just don't have a common sense. They just listen to whatever people say without questioning the practicability, the effectiveness of it, the efficiency of it. I only do whatever makes sense, whatever make it efficient, make it productive. I don't do something that a lot of people do. Just because a lot of people do it doesn't mean it's gonna work. You know how do I know that? Since high school. Since high school, I saw a bunch of people, took note, followed the formula, and the day that when I graduated from university, a lot of them didn't find jobs. Since then, I stopped listening to the crowd. Like, what's the point? Because at the point where they follow the majority, you can't see the instant result, how bad it is. But later, you start looking at everybody graduate from university, older people from gifted school, top school, they knew everything 4.0, and they can't even figure out a job. Since that day, I make the decision to stop listening to the big crowd.
When you make the decision, you?
I start focusing on whatever, like giving me the result. I always look back in the past and seeing certain things that I did. I tracked it.
You influence other people for
Influence. I'm doing it on myself. I got result. I can teach others. If you don't have result, no one will listen to you. Say, oh, you're so different from the crowd, and then you're broke. Yeah. Like, be different. Yeah, go to mental hospital. Yeah, that's how you be different. No, not that kind of different. You have success when people listen to you. Just the problem is people in KD team, bunch of them like people pleaser. Most of the people pleaser are people like whoever has a phlegmatic personality. They're all very robotic. They just do whatever make people happy, not whatever works.
You know, people have to in the long term, long run, not like just for that moment.
You please people feeling, but not people future.
Yeah, you please my feeling just now. You please my future.
You.
Oh,
Most Koreans are very rebellious. Look at all the movies. They fight. They hate each other. They're jealous. Yeah, they have aggressive. They're jealous. They fight. This girl fighting the other woman who cheating on her boyfriend. Jealousy, drama. That's Korean trait. Yeah, that's why I want Korean team. They bring drama, rebellious, fighting. Look at Eminem team. So much drama. They get influenced by K-drama. They fought. They rebellious. They didn't listen. Yeah. See?
They have a
You like it
They have
more,
team.
you like MP more.
Motivation person. Motivational person. And
He sleep already.
yeah. He got into MP headquarters. He slept all day. No energy.
Oh my God.
Even the cat knows. Yeah, so I mean, if you go to different headquarters, you see a bunch of people start asking questions. And if they haven't created a case for themselves, then they learn from their other people's case. But then the problem is, like, whenever I ask Quan, why didn't you ask questions? He was like, I really wanted to, but I want to think by myself first before I ask. And she said, okay, so how long did it take for you to think for yourself? Like a week. By that time, the case was over. And then the next time I asked her, can you ask right now? She said, yeah, sure, I can ask. But let me understood whatever happened before that first. She took about 5 minutes to understand everything that happened in the last 5 minutes. And then the case moved on to a different case. Yeah. Feel, yeah. Feel. When you build a team of like pragmatic, you got to be so good at teaching them the how and the what. You don't say that. You don't teach them something like general and expect them to get it. You've got to literally show them what exactly you need to say. Even when you teach them people skill, you can give them 25 cases, they won't get it. You wait until they fail, and you teach them exactly what they need to say. But the Sanguine has that problem. Like, look, he has really good people skill. He doesn't know how to teach back to his team. Like, to him, it comes naturally. Like for me, I break it down into little different small formulas so they can start going back and teaching their team. So if Katie has a lot of phlegmatic into her team and she doesn't know how to teach them what to say, that doesn't mean they read, they listen, they're watching. Like for me, I went to like those, shows and, TV shows, and I'm watching people interacting with each other. I start noticing right there they're using people skill, and I sort of copy that and imitate that. So these guys are watching 25 shows, they can't even get anything out of it. You literally have to show them the exact words Even for long, you want to reflect for him, you have to teach him exactly. If I were you, I would say this. I would think this way. I would think that way. I would focus on here. I will focus on there. You have to literally do it all the little tasks.
Why is it different?
I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know, the way that they learn is just so slow. I don't know.
Phil, I have a question.
No.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so you talk about having people skills. So can you have some more example about that, like how you break it down to your team and like point out for them to learn?
You can only teach that, like cases to cases. There's no formula when it comes to people skills. What's the formula for people skill? Make people feel good. That's it. Yeah, whatever you say, I don't know. It's this case you say something else, the other case you say something else. But if I teach someone like 5 to 10 cases of what to say, then from then on they're getting good at it. Like I'll give you one case. This guy is sleeping during a meeting, an open meeting. And it's not a nap. It's a long nap, 2 hours. So if he's in the house, he's your cross line, what will you do? You go to him, you say, hey, you don't do that, they'll hate you. It's not your team. If you tell me, I can't call the guy and say, hey, wake up. Because he'll be like, how do you know? Do you have like a camera in the house? How do you know? Oh, Sasha told me. And he would hate Sasha.
Yeah.
So what would I do? What would you do in that case? You don't tell me. You can't go straight to the guy. You go in the chat, but there's a guy in me, and you go like, hey, I see you sleeping. Phil, please smack him. That's not going to work because he will hate you. You'll be like, Phil Crossline from the headquarters asked me about where are you? And hey, Phil, I knew that he came back from a long night of work. He's taking a nap. But how should I answer this? But then now you exclude yourself, you weight yourself from responsibility. You didn't do anything. It's the crossline asked you. You're innocent. And you put it on the chat where I have a reason to jump in and giving my answer and I can address the person. And that's when I'm asking, so, but hey, why are you taking a nap for so long? If the dude was like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to turn the alarm clock, I'll start going ahead and address him. But if he was like, well, just today I came back and I got a fever. Oh yeah, then take your time. See, it really has a lot to do with what happened to the person. Yeah, and when you're there and when I do it, you don't think, oh, Phil would do this for me forever. You will have to say, how can I address it the way he addressed? So later you don't need to go through me. You can go and ask the person, hey, how's your day? I know that you went through a long day, but you know what? For us to build a strong community headquarters, we got to be a team. We got to play this game together. You're looking to address it in a very sensible and reasonable and smart and wise and clever way so he would not getting in trouble with you. See, that's how you handle a situation with people skill. Now, give me a formula. No. Are you breaking this down to people and teach them? No. There's no way you can be able to do it. It's case to cases. So if I teach business ownership, I need to remember 25 cases. If I teach people skill, I need to remember 25 cases from all the crosses to teach you. So it's hard for me with whenever I want to teach some topic, I had to come up with my own cases because you guys ain't got none. And that makes it so hard for me to teach everything. And you know the hardest thing for me is you put me in front of a candidate that I had no idea. I didn't know anything about the guy. You was the one that stick with the guy 24/7. You gave me no cases. Phil, he has this problem. Go ahead and address it. How the heck do I know? So I have to go make up my own cases. So everywhere you're looking at all my foundation video, each of the case has a lot. Each of the video has a lot of cases, and I have to remember it myself because I know my downline will not gonna back me up. So I gotta go ahead and do it myself. Scary.
Okay, let me tell this one for Ria. Ria, candidate yesterday spent $500 to buy a suit and tie.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
Well, just a couple hours ago, that day we were doing the thing.
So it didn't do budgeting, but it was like Julie gave him, like an example of if he needs to do something for the first time, like we were going through 6 cardinals, and we went over like the ones that said like, if you're doing something for the first time, check with offline.
That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work.
And Julie gave him the example of like, if you were to, for example, buy a car for the first time, like,
He doesn't get all the.
yeah, like, he couldn't really connect the dots.
Buying the car and then buying the suit.
Yeah.
In order for you to teach 6 cardinal rules effectively, you have to really do it like this. You don't say, hey, check with uplines for everything you do for the first time. You have to say like something like this. For example, last time I met this guy, he's so stupid. I talked to him about don't buy a car without checking with your upline because sometimes you overbought something without knowing it. And then the next day, he didn't buy a car, but he overbought a suit. So an example like that, the next time will save someone else. Example cases. People, because when you say don't do anything for the first time without checking with your upline, and then go to the back room, they say, yeah, poop, and we don't check with me on that. Or they never sleep with a girl. Yo, right at this moment, I'm about to sleep with a girl. Let me check with you. So, I don't want to disturb your pleasure. Go ahead.
No, sometimes it's good to say that too.
Oh yeah, then that's good. Yeah, you need to check with me. Yeah, I say you got to do it slowly. Yeah.
So like, how do you keep people doesn't want to like try and listen to you?
If you say the right thing and it works for them, they'll listen to you. If it's not working, if you say it wrong, and they will not listen to you. Yeah, it's just working yourself, nothing to do with people. You teach the right thing, you teach it right, you teach it good, they'll listen to you. Yeah. But you tell, hey, do passive income. I've done this for 10 years, I'm still broke, listen to me. Who listen to you?
You have to have all the people. Whatever they want, you know, and they will listen to you.
So one of the things I hate the most when it comes to like doing appointments is I'm coming to the candidate, I got no clue. How much time he spent on cooking? What time did he wake up in the morning? How much time he spent on shopping? Did he have a girlfriend? Did he ended up like cheating on the girlfriend? I got no idea about the person. How old is a candidate? He's 32? How can you be 32 and not so established in life? I want to know all the details. To you, it's not important. To me, it is. Because I base upon those information to tell me a lot about the candidate and who they are. Their age helps. Their background helps. The decision they made help. The moment when they open their mouth and they ask a question, I can tell who they are. Because if I were them, I wouldn't ask that question. I would ask some other question. See, so I can tell so much about the person. But here's the problem. I got no clue about the person. Because you don't give me any hint. You don't think that's important. So how do I help the person? I walk them through a couple cases, a candidate. After about a month or two, they work with me. Now they knew which is important to provide me, which is not important. I swear, I helped the Houston team 4,000 cases. The next time, can you talk to my candidate? He's potential. He's international student. He studied this major, and he's in step 4, and he's fired up to see you. That's it. I didn't know what CD he listened to. I didn't know that what was his why from the beginning. I didn't know who he lives his life with. I didn't know that, how long he's been in America. I don't know how much, because I look at somebody's timeline in America versus his English, I can tell his ambition level.
Yeah.
Little thing like that, I got no updates. For you, you don't know how to connect the dot. For me, it connect a lot.
But we don't know why. We don't know
Yeah, connection. So, I mean, whenever, sometimes you guys give me a long essay about a candidate I read, I was like, oh, I don't need it. It didn't help at all. Sometimes I read and I liked it, but I wasn't sure it was right. Because you just having your subjective opinion about the person.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't even know that's right. So I don't trust all the time. See, now let me teach you how to reflect. This whole conversation, was it helpful? Was it helpful today so far? We wouldn't learn it if somebody didn't bring a candidate here. How can we learn this without a person coming here? If you were to be curious enough and you ask this question, you don't have to wait for a candidate to come here. You can ask me something like, Phil, what information about a candidate should I provide you? A question like that would never be asked. If I was Katie and I sat here earlier, how would I assist you better to help you address the candidate? You wouldn't ask something like that. So should I sit in the same circle or stay out there? Should I stay around in the vicinity of the meeting, or should I join you guys a circle? Because Henry was here, and Luke was there, and Sasha was here, whatever. And they asked questions to me. They helped out. Why would you guys stay around? I feel people should stay around here. I mean,
I actually told her to say that because I'm afraid if the guy no.
Sure. I mean, that makes sense because like starting with 2 or 3. But if you observe and you feel like the guy's very friendly, come join. And sometimes people come join and they didn't push themselves to join the conversation. So their brain doesn't have to work that hard. And they get slow. I want to make an intention to join the conversation. So then that way my brain has to exercise. And it required me to ask the on-point questions for the mentor to address because the dude doesn't even ask questions.
Yeah. You don't have to respect it, like after you say something, whatever. Help me reflect. Not like by teaching like you, but like sharing about my case.
See, so why would Katie know how to ask questions? Because she's been with me for a few cases. She has seen me really address some other people's problems. She has watched other people's cases. She poked her nose into everybody else's business. She wants to know everything about the entire world. Now, when it comes to work with me, she knows how to assist and work with me better.
The difficult thing for Ria is that I understand this, but she has thing on the translation from William.
We say he doesn't want to do it, or he doesn't get paid much this month. Free is all about the money. He's not doing it for the heart.
Goring.
No, not really. It's heartless oriented.
It's high oriented. Yeah. Actually, all cases.
Okay. Anything else? What's that say?
Oh, that's say
That I feel more about this topic.
No, but they have a room. I think he's with us.
Okay, it's done. Ria say, can you get out of the Zoom? So it's my
That's okay.
No.
Yes, let's go. Come here. We have a book.
I don't know how to do this stuff, man. It requires so much.
When I work with my select Tom, let's say we do one. So after I say something and I say something, Tom will actually continue to share more about that topic, which I actually don't like because I want him to ask the candidate how they feel and then follow up with that. Assist me instead of just following the conversation. So sometimes people have the tendency to just continue to the topic. Because he doesn't understand that.
Intentions and
Yeah, we need to know what the candidate's doing. And sometimes they're not saying what they don't share. most of the time, it's like, they just keep the feeling for themselves.
Yeah, after a meeting like that, you can explain to him that this is something that I need your help, but people don't get it right away. Well, sometimes it's a good thing that he tends to share his stories like that. There's a role to play, but then you're just lacking a role. That's why you want him to be everybody. You know, but then, you know, I mean, if we have one Tom can share a story, one Tom can answer questions. Now,
Yeah, but then we did an NG1B with a candidate. And then I was the one who was spontaneously sharing and talking. I'm the one who asked questions and, you know, my text, stuff like that. And Tom's the one who sharing story and then asking feeling of the candidate. Which when 3 people create 1 person.
you know how hard it is for someone to really ask an on-call question, which means they have to follow the entire conversation since the beginning all the way to the end in order for them to know which question to ask. They had to analyze the candidate. He would have to think what this candidate would want according to the stereotype he knew about the Flexan in the past. And he had to really follow cross-site case even before he met the guy today.
Yeah.
So now if there's an appointment for his own team, he knew what to do with somebody similar. It's more like that challenge you created for yourself. And no one would push him how to do that. He had to learn to do that.
So like whenever I ask about their feelings and they like it's just
But she doesn't know how to follow through.
yeah. And I don't know like what if the person say the true thing or not. Because she just said, yeah, I'm okay. Then I knew that she's not really okay. She feels a bit tired at the end. But then
That's like you too. We don't know when you say the right thing or not. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm doing okay. Please. Yeah. So it's more of experience. You have seen something like that before, based upon their personality. There's absolutely no way an MP could be like, I'm fine.
No, Jack can do that. Jack goes to function and freedom.
For a minute?
So come up.
How much for a minute? For a minute. Or
Really?
how long do you do that?
Yeah.
For real?
Jack is a fat man.
It takes Tom 3 years to be like right now. So maybe.
Right now, it's not even
Are you saying he can yell?
Katie, you already shut up. It's your turn.
So I also have problem like working with the team, like working at upline, especially like with Korean candidates.
Can you French in Korean?
talking Korean.
I mean,
Whenever I join the reading,
안돼요.
they talk in Korean.
no,
Talk like cannot help you.
no. I mean, whenever I involve upline, I of course like use English, but like I think whenever I think for candidates, or I think for candidates more than like thinking about working with upline, like for Korean candidates. Like whenever I feel like we build better friendship in Korean, then I prioritize that more than working with upline. And this is like the first time. This is the first time that I have Korean candidates like who better speak Korean than English. And also like it's been like 1 month since I started working closely with Julie, and Han is not really, involved in the process that much. And also like Julie's not really strong in AB candidates at the moment. And
Convince your upline, move you to such that Tactay will be able to translate all kinds of languages from Tagalog to Vietnamese to.
See, I'm able to watch it. People look to.
He knows how to build MP.
Huh?
Actually, lot. And he,
neuroscience, complexity,
mechanical psychology. Yeah, MP. Yeah, so
It's like in the essence. Oh,
the Julie will not gonna be like very effective in English. The person doesn't kind of get it. Han's only been around for some time, so you build a team that's so different from the offline, and it means that the good thing is you'll be able to take over a community that no one's gonna be able to get their hand on it. But bad thing is there's not so much help you can get from the offline. Like if I decide to build my Vietnamese team, there's only so much I can do for a Vietnamese team. You know how to do EB3, green card, getting a job for student working at a table, taking class in school. He couldn't help that. I had to figure out everything. If I want to build a Somalian community, yeah, that's easy. But what's my chance to take over a Somalian community compared to my chance to take over a Vietnamese community? Very low, yeah. So if you want to really build a Korean team, back in the day, I had to go and getting a physical copy. This is the 21st century in Vietnamese I have. If there wasn't one, I'm going to ask somebody to translate. And I'm going to go on, Amway in Vietnam and download a bunch of videos from successful Vietnamese diamonds over there. And I got to re-download some, Vietnamese subtitles, Vietnamese things like product demonstration. I had to figure everything out by myself, and I only leverage my offline in only one thing, which is story and inspiration. And then the first food of your guy has to be somebody who's super green. Like you can address that back to the guy, but he's not gonna run away from you.
You want to be like that?
yeah.
I think that's why, like, in my process currently, it's like I take over a lot of things, but like at the moment, like I want to say, like I work too independent for this, process. Because, like, of course,
That makes sense. I was very independent. If I built a Vietnamese team, there wasn't so much help I could do for me because I knew what's good for me. But you just have to understand there's a risk. There's a pros and there's a cons, and understand that it is what it is. You can't do so much.
It's all about the figuring out mentality on the solution oriented. The thing is, like, you have to take risks if you want to do something. The game is you're going to be the master of that community. You have to accept that you have to take a risk because there's no success that taking risk. If you do Vietnamese, then your chance of getting help is higher. But then the thing is, so many people are taking Vietnamese. So let's say if we want to build AB, we have to take risks too. Yeah, but the thing is, our team comes with AB too, and we have to take risks too. And everybody has to take risks. Yeah.
But then for MP, risk is like the other thing.
MP, motivational person.
So the thing is, we take risks in everything in life, right? Job, marriage, everything. The business, the risk, then the consequence after taking risk.
Like if the guy understand my foundation video, that would help too. I mean, if he doesn't understand that, okay, there's something wrong with my English. There's a subtitle that can translate that into Korean on YouTube. If he can read, that will work too.
And the guy's English is good.
He was born here.
Yeah, he was born here, but he moved to Korea, so he felt more comfortable in Korean.
And he said he wasn't born here. Yeah. Technically, he's a Korean guy. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Good. Not everybody speak Vietnamese to Vietnamese.
Right.
You give birth to a black dude in Vietnam, and he has a Vietnamese soul. He just has a black body, but he is a Vietnamese. You say, yeah, he's black, he's not Vietnamese, but yeah, for me, spiritually, he's Vietnamese. So the dude is Korean. So you have to figure it out. I mean, if his English is not good, all the translation, you got to figure out every way for him to leverage everything in English.
And so, like, in in his case, like in his process, so like normally I would involve Julie for friendship, at like spotting red flags, adding value, things like that. But now in his case, I don't know like what kind of role that I should ask Julie. I cannot apply the same thing for different people.
Just be his friend and giving out the material. If you build people that your upline couldn't do a lot to help, he better be fast-minded. He better get things fast. And think about someone like Ali. How can he start the whole community of Somalia when he had no interpreter? He had nobody connect with Somalian with Indian. He had to be super fast, alert, intelligent, clever. He better figure things out, everything by himself. You're first of your kind. You gotta be super smart.
So for most of my dealers, they don't come from a very like poor background. Like they don't have much troubles in life and
Your school?
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, the Fort Worth Christian thing, man.
Yeah.
All the rich kids there.
Yeah, and also
Private school.
my dealers are like I used to go to
International.
so they
So do we like
yeah they don't have struggles from their parents or like anything that they can think of, and they only agree to join me because they are interested in business, but they don't have a strong why. So how can I like
Just talk to Sasha. She had everything the same.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
No, I walk.
Huh?
I walk. But no, like.
When I met Kenny at the first time, and I heard that the high school that he went to in Vietnam, like, what he thought it's not even like a good school. I kind of looked down on that because the way I grew up was all about like which school you went to. And later, I saw like a bunch of gifted school people going to gifted school. They followed Kenny. I was like, what the heck was wrong? It was never about the school you went to. Just so I have a bunch of people who went to gifted school in my team. The only thing they know is just look smart. They don't even know how to do anything. Just worry about that. But then they just don't have that street smart, and you need to really help them to set up their life in a way that they're so broke. They're so far away from financial freedom. My mental toughness CD talks about that. How to set your life up in position that you sold your car, you sold your houses, and you move the contract to your parents, right? Right? Move your houses, your car, and then you go to work full time, and then you get married to somebody who uses your money a lot.
Hey, that's not the case. We
See, this is setting up.
So what I need to point out for them is like without their parents, they're like they will be broke, right? Like without their parents, they are nothing. I mean, they're not nothing but.
It's all about how you do the explanation. But if you say the right thing, they'll listen. If you can't do that proper job, then you have to watch a couple of recording I did, and maybe certain thing that I did before, and the CD and mental toughness audio, and you watch a few of them, and I always talk about like how do you set yourself up for poverty, for in an environment that you feel so far away from finance. Some of them even they already start at the finish line.
I think it's all about the mental backdoor, because my family is wealthy, but my mom always like talk to me like, hey, I need to pay her back. Even like I go to school, she's like always complaining about the tuition, and she's like, I only pay.
A few people in my team, they're like, oh, my mom doesn't love me. I don't want to pay back. And you have to help them see that the mom may really love you, just you didn't find out. Your job is to really giving them more meaning, more motivation in life, because you have a good, healthy ego. Like, if you look at this guy, he didn't even know what his motivation is. You have to really connect the dots and showing him that he has a role to play in this sport. He's somebody. And be able to see that by himself. You're somebody to your mom, somebody to your dad. You expose him to a better reference point. Somebody came from the same background like you. His name is Kai. He's going to like $28,000, tuition, but he's transferred from that to community. Oh, you heard about that all the time. You just have to do good at explaining that.
I think they have to be, open-minded too, right? Like
Well, they really care about changing themselves, like because it's only when you're far away from your goal, you have to go into the process of getting a job and getting fired and getting laid off and getting backstabbed by some people, and you have to deal with life and write out the application, doing the interview, and really kick and bust certain people, and that's how you grow. When you're putting yourself in the process, because the greatest reward of man's dedication to action is not what one gets from it, but who he or she becomes through it. That's what Bill Britt talked about. How do you explain to them when you don't know how to do that for yourself? And at least you have to study someone else's cases. Like, I didn't come from that background, but if I tell somebody something, I don't use my example. What do you know about me? I talk to them about some cases that I know. Like, it's a perfect example. Family is richer than Bill Britt, but then why he moved out from his house? Because he knew that would not set him up for success. Congratulations. You're halfway to success. The other halfway is still very far. I look depressed. Every time Kevin looks at you, he looks depressed.
I think one of the problem with the line too is that when she talks with people, let's say candidates, sometimes there's I don't know, it's like it's either lack or like lack of that skills that people still want to work the thing that you want to say. Let's say the candidate doesn't fix so much on the group chat, right? He doesn't know how to say it in a way that makes the candidate go on the group chat and share. He doesn't know how to get the candidate to talk. She say that. What do you say?
To make her want to talk in the chat.
Hey,
Hey,
apply want to do friendship with you. Yeah, my apply is okay. Want to do the friendship with you. So you go to the chat.
Yeah. Oh, she said, like, you said.
You said it exactly.
Oh.
What do you do to make the candidate talk in the chat?
I mean, I wouldn't like, state it like exactly like that. But I mean, she's still in NG1. Yeah. Why do you want her to like move forward? What makes to
because she has she knew that she would want to pay back to her parents, and she even though like she doesn't right now she doesn't I want to give her a chance to like for me to explain and figure out with her why
So right now, like, she's not the best.
She doesn't have the book yet because we want to like get to know her more, like get her to talk with us more.
And she
It's kind of serious that she doesn't want to because
like even in private chat. If I were you, if I was the professor of her, then I wouldn't really push that much. Even like whenever I show the sign to her that I want to talk to her, but she doesn't really like, communicate well, things like that, then I will just leave her. I think last night I mentioned about like, having your standards, things like that. I think that's what goes with that. Like, if Kenneth doesn't show that much sign, then she does, like, for me, I wouldn't qualify her to move forward.
I think I should like pressure her. If she doesn't want it right now, then no matter how I lower myself down, why?
I think that depends on the thing we wanna make her to talk in the chat, right? Your intention is I want you to get in the chat because my upline Sophie wanna talk to you too. We wanna build a friendship with you. But the thing is, whenever we think that inside, we text it like that on the chat, it can, lower the posture and the process. And then you think, oh, I really wanna be friendship with me. Why? Why they wanna be friendship with me? Or and the person is why they want friendship, That has to be explained in OG1, like why friendship and why communication in the chat. Yeah, that should be explained in OG1.
When you start building that community and you didn't really get a lot of help from, your upline, did you do all the roles by yourself?
She has the pressure.
Literally put myself in the shoes of somebody who's like me, and I would wonder that how would you make them feel motivated? How would you make them feel motivated? If I were them, what would I want to hear? I would go find that material. I would find that first. So every time I took this Vietnamese like the Indians, look, they're so educated. We were in 1/10 of where they are. Why would they still feel motivated to do this?
Person who do not have any one. Okay, I can find them, let them know.
You need to inspire yourself. You cannot give what you haven't got. Yeah, you have to go motivational.
Because you're asking about the career, I think his problem is that he doesn't know how to say. Doesn't know how to work the sentence, whether it makes any interest or ask the right question.
So he has a problem in getting his point across to people.
Because he doesn't talk much?
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story. Every time his parents call me, his parents say, why Steve didn't pick up the phone? I've been calling Steve from last night. And that makes his parents worry about him a lot. His parents say, oh, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if what he said to me is right. But I don't have time to go back and check. And I'm like, no, please don't come back. Yeah. The thing is that he didn't know that without updating properly or sit in his parents' position to think what they worry about, And then we've been telling them, hey, you need to call your parents every night.
Yeah. But after that, I went to the room and talked to my dad, married to him. And then after that, I called him on.
So it's always like after, like
for him, my only expectation is just living in the headquarters for a year or two and slowly let him catch up and why. I don't want to put any expectation, because we're talking about like university, but he's still like somewhere like elementary school. So let him go slowly catch up.
Thằng chó
Yeah.
The beginner probably not that fast. After
Just let him slowly catching up with life. And let him learn from everybody like cases and be around for a little while. That's it.
yeah, it's a lot more.
Yeah.
It's no more.
I mean, it's the foundation isn't there. Like facial expression, comprehensive skill set, the ability to convey your message, the ability to analyze and interact and, practice your mind. It's all from where you want it to be. You can see the difference between him and these two. By listening, watching, and facial expression and understand what's going on. So very far because he's younger. Obviously he's younger, so give him some time.
Let's be around.
Yeah. So she needs a little bit more time.
She's local.
Think about that. So what do you guys really want to achieve? Like I started like 20. You guys saw like 17, 18, 19. I mean, how do you expect to start your business when you were young and you were be more successful than I was? Well, everybody took their own time and eventually you got there. But maybe when he turned 20, my age, he will be at my level at that time, starting the business. We try to achieve short. Okay, a lot of people successful, like you, 20 years old, you start, you become very successful. For now, just catching up slowly.
Have the intention to catch up?
Get the job, get the car, slowly build your life. Throwing him out there dealing with life, getting scolded by boss, and going through everything other students have to go through. Oh, we're slowly getting there because he can't connect with many people out there right now. Because he hasn't gone through the things that they go through.
That's why I told you to go soccer with the Kansas instead of looking into it. I told you. Like that you went to a soccer class, a bunch of videos. You can have fun and network at the same time.
I only
See, look at her playing soccer.
What happened?
She said yesterday she can beat you on here.
That's lá. Lá là most time of Jim and I told lá, cuối cô nói gì? Lá like, man, that's the real style of the car.
You know motorcycle? You drove motorcycle like all the way here now. You have a lot of public. You want to have one time to laugh? I think for last is they have street smart, just that emotion and He's listening to the calls and John. He's been reflecting about everything.
When the car?
One thing about Ria is that a lot of times she really says the things that she doesn't understand and working well with upline, but she tends to only say it to Ria. Because she doesn't want to, make a point or to
confront them.
Hope you love that.
And
Eventually. A lot. You see, I told you, here's a story from people like you before that. They always want to wait it until either their team got hurt so much and so many people quit. One of them would be Henry. He had enough life. He had a hard time to work with you. He only wanted to step up when. Because one side is the relationship that he has been building for 3 or 4 years. One side is a new team he just established. And until he lost all kind of that team, he's like, I want to take over. That's the first case scenario. I mean, until you have a lot more to lose. I don't want people or the team to keep quitting. That's when you start really taking the big action. Now, number 2, something happened with your life. You really need this money so bad. See, one side is only family and the other side is the Indian business. The problem with the family people is if I really need to tell you something, I don't want to lose the relationship between me and you. The Indian will be like, money is money. Right is right, wrong is wrong. You hurt my business. You're taking away my money. This is my kids and my family. Now I'll stick it out. The family's like, I do this for you. So when the person they follow lose motivation, they stop building the business too. It's not like, hey, with you build it now, I'm sure to build it. But the only one good thing I like about the alley style is there's that harmony, there's that unity, there's that humanity, there's that value. People loving people, and that's the reason why they fighting for the common goal. This side like lacking of unity, they're fighting, they're killing each other. Too calculating. I don't want to be too much on one side, I want to be somewhere in between. Like some of the problem for you took a year or two to really address it because never like being discussed at all. Waiting until like the team quitting and everything to start talking about that. See, today, what did I just do? I taught people what you need to update me and what do I need from you guys, information. Based upon a case. I'm going to tell you what I need. I'll be very demanding. Why? I'm going to tell my upline, you got to get paid to help me. It's not like I'm doing this for free. You're doing this for free. Everybody has a business to own. Now we're getting in here and we're doing some sort of charity.
I think the reason why I go to Mia for this kind of problem is that I think I want to check with Mia, huddle with Mia first about like, you know, Julie and Han, and then sure that I don't hurt them by English because I can be direct.
Just making a bunch of messes, and didn't matter what happened in the past. All relationship eventually could be fixed because as soon as this takes off and shoots up and everything's happening, and all relationship will be fixed. I haven't seen any relationship that wasn't be fixed after a period of like 3 to 4 to 5 years. Those relationships are more long-lasting and solidified than those of the relationships that they never fight with each other. These are relationships that we went through thick and thin, blood, sweat, and tears. We fought through fear, we fought through tears, we went through everything together, and we hate each other, and eventually now we do. You're looking at a marriage. How can a wife stay together for a long, long run? Oh, they hated each other a lot, and they misunderstood a lot, and eventually they stay here. So stay in a relationship with you. If you're trying to keep everything peace, 4 years from now you have a good relationship, that is not a solid one. That is not a safe one. That won't last for so long. You think it might be strong, but in the moment when something happens, it will shake your tree. Hey, Henry, we get the Zoom off and we just go eat. We'll play soccer.
To stop being peaceful, looking for fun.
Walk. Yes.
Chaotic.
I look at my wife and I'm like, I want no problems. I want no peace. See?
Did you say?
Why I love her. Then you have a girlfriend. We don't want no problems. I don't want peace. I want the wall. Nothing else.
Do you have a problem with this wife?
Yeah. Hold on. You need to fight for what?
Okay.
Very athletic.
Yeah, I want to be single.
Very good.
Huh?
Very, very neat. Yes.
Okay, let's discuss this. Send us a note. Too many shaming.
When is look gonna be done?
Okay, bye guys.
Yeah.